Okay, shalom everybody. It's good to see you again. I hope all of you are well. I would like to share with you some thoughts on Parshat Shavua, which on the one hand seems very much as a utopia, and to see how much it really meets experiences we're going through these days. I want to refer to the Jubilee year, to the Shnat HaYovel, which describes how during the Jubilee year, I'll read you the pasuk in Hebrew, Yovel hi tiyeh lachem, it shall be a jubilee for you. And the pasuk continues, V'shavtem ish el achuzato v'ish el mishpachto tashuvu. And you shall return each man to his property, and you shall return each man to his family. Now, what is this dual return? What is this? You shall return to your property, and you shall return to your family. So many of the commentators, Rashi expresses it, and many more do, say that this dual return is referring to two different returns. One is the return of the fields. To Jubilee year, the fields return to their original owners, and that is ish el achuzato, each man to his property, meaning the field returns to you, and each man to his family refers to releasing the slaves. But I want to show you a very interesting reading of the pasuk by the Netziv in his commentary, Hamek Davar. The Netziv suggests that both refer to the return of the slaves. Even saying each man to his property refers to the slave returning home, and also the second return of each man to his family. And the Netziv says the following, Hapshat, the simplest reading of the pasuk is, the Hashava Rishona, the first return, if shal lefaresh, you can explain, שיבוא לאותה שנה למקומו, למשפחתו, להתראות עמם, ואחר כך יחזור למקומו הראשון, meaning if it would only appear the first return, each man to his property, we would have thought that the Yovel, the Jubilee year, is to give you a visit, to go home. Somebody works in by some owner, he's a slave, so okay, he gets a vacation, gets a holiday. Go visit your family, say hello, and go back. Come back, work for me. So the Torah says that no. You should return to your family. It's a permanent return. It says the Netziv, I'm reading to you. The family members gather together. What do they have to do together? They have to rebuild their relationships. They have to understand what caused them to be distant one from the other, and to rebuild their relationships. And then, says the Netziv, you kvu'im in kol mishpachtam. In the Torah, in this week's Parsha, is calling us to have relationships with our broader family, with our different family members, because the Torah knows there are different reasons it causes families to fall apart, to be distant one from the other. I mean, if we just look at the Parsha, the way they lived in those times, the people had their fields that they were given out in the Nachalot, so family members lived together. In our world, why do each family live alone? Because we don't work the fields, we don't live as a communa. Each family, the husband and wife, have their own professions, and you choose where to live independently. Even by us, we still have things we could see in the parasha, meaning the parasha describes that somebody sells his field and he's seeking for more and more ways to make a living. So that causes also social distance, because if you sell your field and you get a job here, so you travel, you go different places. And I'm sure that many of those who are listening now to this talk have family members scattered perhaps different continents all over the world. I know of members of the community, they have children across the ocean, and we today, sociologically, we don't live families together, but we should listen to what the Torah is telling us of what a value it is. Today too, there are different reasons that cause family members to be remote, to be distant one from the other. But the distance should be only geographically. The distance should not be because we don't get along or because we don't see the value of our contacts. In the words of the Netziv, again, they have to fix the reasons that cause them to be remote. A similar explanation appears by the Meshech Chochmah, who says a very similar idea. He says, the apostle comes to teach us how good it is when you return to your estate. Why? Because the scattering of family lives, he says, ba mi misibot hazman, it comes from different circumstances that cause brothers to be distant one from the other. This one turns to the north, ze poneh latzafon, v'ze ladarom, v'vakesh tarfo v'zono. Many of us choose where to live, by where you find work, maybe if it's cheap. Prices, there are many reasons why people choose where to live. And there's no call here that you have to live right next to your mother-in-law, okay? But there is a call to have a good relationship. And what the Torah is describing to us, that one of the values of the Yovel, which we should take to our lives, is the importance of family and the connection between family members. Ish el mishpachto tashuvu. You shall return each man to his family. When you keep reading the Parsha, you discover that the importance of family, even when people are far away, meaning the Jubilee year is a call to have a close relationship, even though they became distant. But you will read the Parsha tomorrow, you will hear very clearly how the Torah, even when they are distant, even when you sell your field, even when you get into trouble and you took a loan and you have no money to return it, and somebody sold, and you were perhaps almost sold to a slave, who's supposed to help you? The Torah keeps up with your family members, because family is solidarity. Family is being bond together, it's being attached, it's helping each other. So the Torah on the one hand says, yes, even when there are different reasons, circumstances that cause family members to go distant one from the other, even then they don't lose their bondage. Even then, they're connected, they're linked one to the other. But the Torah aspires to something beyond that. The Torah aspires to, we shall return each man to his family. Now, this meets me very closely during these past few weeks, and especially in these the past week or two, because I feel we're now in some process of you shall return each man to his family. We have talked a lot in these past weeks about how coronavirus has taken apart our social bondage and put each one back into his family. I think one of our great experiences was to rediscover our families. I talked about, if perhaps you remember, the Drashat Shabbat Hagadol, where we talked about how the Korban Pesach is within the family, and that Am Yisrael is built of many families who know how to bond themselves together. But if we compare the family of Korban Pesach to the family of Parshat Behar, we can see that the family of Behar is much broader. In Korban Pesach, the Torah talks about Sela Bet Avot Sela Bayit, a lamb for each parental home, a lamb for each household. That's with the people you're living with. That's the way we celebrate our Seder this year, with the people that you live with them on a day-to-day basis. But Parshat Behar is beyond that. It's returning to your estate. It's discovering your broader family, not only those that you live with them, but also those who are related to them, even though each one has his own household. And the Torah is telling us what important value is not to only be within your own household, but to be part of a broader family. It gives you identity, gives you solidarity. And now that we're in days where, due to the success of preventing a massive spread of the virus and basically, hopefully stopping the pandemic, we now are in a new stage where we return to our families. We can visit each other, and how important it is to do so. Now, I'll share with you the joy that I have when I could visit my mother, still keeping restrictions to protect her from not getting the disease, but in her yard, in open space, it's much safer than inside the house, in the backyard, with masks, not hugging. It's a very strange way to visit your mother, but hopefully we'll continue stopping the spread of the virus, and then we can get more than that. This is a value of discovering brotherhood that the Parshat Shavua is calling us. But I would like to add that there's some family which is beyond that. The parsha talks about, as I mentioned, the brothers help each other. And what the parsha really describes is how you help each other when one of your brothers goes into crisis. And the parsha really describes an economical crisis. Now, one of the aspects of the fighting the pandemic is the economical crisis which comes together with it. There are many, many businesses who are collapsing. Many people were fired from their jobs. And another message we have to take from this Parshat Shavua is our duty to help each other, our duty to feel like brothers. When we talk about brothers, it's not only brothers in the sense that biologically we're brothers, all Jews are brothers. The Rambam writes in a very moving piece in the laws of tzedakah, the Rambam writes the following words: Kol Yisrael, meaning all of Am Yisrael, v'anilveh alehem, and those who live with us, ki achim hem, we're like brothers. How does he know that? That all Jews are brothers one to the other. The Rambam says, Shene'emar banim atem l'Hashem Elokechem. It's an amazing statement. Since we are God's children, so it means we're brothers. The Rambam continues, V'lo yerachem ha'ach al ha'ach. If a brother doesn't have mercy on his own brother, who will have mercy on him? Mi yerachem alav. U'lemi aniyei Yisrael nosim elehem. To who? To the poor of Am Yisrael turn their eyes to for help. Ha'enan and Fluyot, they only turn to help to their brothers. El lachehem. Those are the words of the Rambam. And what I would like to call you is that we have to take responsibility on helping each other economically. Now, these days when the stores reopened, when businesses can start functioning under certain limitations, we have to make a point to help each other, to help these shops where we live, to work local, to have in front of our eyes not only getting the cheapest price for ourselves, but also helping industries here, businesses. I know that there are many nice initiatives, and I know that some of you, many of you, all of you are taking part in them. And I'm calling you to continue doing so. If it's ordering flowers from somebody who grows them and has no way of selling them, if it's buying fruits and vegetables from different businesses who sell them, who grow them. And we have to come out of this parsha with basically a sense of real duty, of solidarity, of helping each other, because who will help our brothers if not ourselves? So I wish upon ourselves in this era of Shabbat Kodesh, Behar, Bechukotai, when we read the parsha, to fulfill in our own lives the tashuvu ish of mishpachto, to return to our families. And we should also listen to the parsha demanding us, calling us to help each other because we are brothers. And I really wish that we will stand up to this call and that we will minimize the collapse of businesses and we could help each other and all the Bezrat Hashem come out the strongest we can from this fight against the disease. I want to wish you all Shabbat Shalom. And you should all be well, and hopefully we'll one day can see each other also, okay? So